Hi, my beautiful ones. I'm very sleepy because I have been looking at this computer for like 7 hours, but I just had the most amazing insight shared with me by one of my beautiful people in my life. And I just want to share it before I lose touch with the just amazing wisdom of it. So, we were talking about this underlying part of that so many of us have been trained into, which is thinking that when something is painful in our experience, that it's because we did something wrong, that we are bad. And this has been so huge in my own life, because I specifically came through the mythology of evangelical Christianity, which really does a lot of if you didn't do something wrong, then you wouldn't experience pain. And we came up with this analogy, and it just is really rocking my world. So I wanted to share it with you. So we imagined someone being lowered into a snake pit, okay, a pit of snakes, and then they get bit. And then the person from above says, you shouldn't have gotten bit. You did something wrong. And that's why you got bit. How crazy is that? Right? If you're in a pit of snakes, what are the snakes going to do? Snake bites are morally neutral. Snakes do not bite something because the something is bad or wrong or should have done it better or could have done it better, right? Like snakes bite things because snakes bite things. Like people experience pain because people experience pain. Like I've said it before, I will keep saying it to whoever is up there running this video game. Like, I disagree with the premise. I do not think we should have created a video game where everybody gets lowered into a snake pit and just has to get bit by snakes. I disagree with the premise of the game. I will keep saying it until I get. I am sure that at some soul level, I understand that there is some sort of reason, purpose, uh, reasonable explanation for why we set up a game where we're lowered into a snake pit, but it is morally neutral. Pain and challenge and obstacles and things going wrong and relationships going wrong and people dying and people getting hurt and wars and famine and children getting screwed up because their parents were screwed up because their parents were screwed up because their parents were screwed up. Like all of that at its very core is morally neutral because there is a level to which, like when my nervous system is hijacked, literally, when my nervous system tells my brain to hijack it and not let me go up to my frontal lobe, if I'm in a fight or flight or dorsal, I am going to either harm someone or neglect someone, right? So all of the pain in the world, more than likely, right? You trace it back, trace it back, trace it back, trace it back. Is somebody felt harmed by a parent or a caregiver or neglected or abandoned by a caregiver. So the harm comes from when someone's in a sympathetic response, right? I'm only going to beat you up or abuse you if I'm in fights. I'm in a sympathetic response. I'm and then neglect or abandonment. I'm going to neglect you if I'm in dorsal, right? If I'm in freeze, I'm not going to be aware of your needs and I'm going to neglect you. I'm going to abandon you if I'm in flight, if I'm in sympathetic, right? So the harm that we experience as little children from parents who are either in fight, flight, or freeze, right? And if they're in fawn, then what is that going to be experienced as? Gaslighting, right? Codependency, lack of boundaries, which, so if every human problem can be traced back to someone's nervous system just acting like a nervous system is supposed to act, right? Fight, flight, freeze, fawn are all morally neutral. They are subconscious reactions that have been evolutionarily programmed into behavior of animals in order to stay alive for survival of the species. Once again, whoever created the nervous system to have those responses, like, I disagree with your planning, but once again, we realize I am not the creator. I am not the programmer of this video game. I am not in charge. But rather than spend the rest of my life disagreeing with the programmer, I am, like this lovely human gave me the turnaround to say, okay, rather than trying to avoid getting bitten by a snake or blaming the person for putting me into the snake pit, blaming the creator for putting me into the snake pit, maybe I learn how to treat snake bites. Okay. I learn how to take care of myself when I'm getting bitten by snakes. That's acceptance, right? That's radical acceptance. Here I am in a snake pit. I could spend my time yelling at the person who put me in the snake pit. I could spend my time trying to kill the snakes. I could spend my time saying awful things to myself about how awful it is that I am in a snake pit. It's probably all my fault and it's because I'm terrible. Or I could start trying to like bandage up my snake bites, and figuring out if I can like take care of myself with this snake situation. Excuse me. I think that was a really an aha moment, friends. I am so grateful for all of the people that have sessions with me because and I say this often, I think, I don't know if people believe me, but I learn so much from you all. I am so incredibly grateful. So, this idea that all of the violence, all of the pain is morally neutral because someone is only capable of violence or neglect and abandonment or gaslighting codependency. They are only capable of those if so violence, if they're in sympathetic, they're in fight. Gaslighting codependency, they're in flight, sympathetic. Neglect, abandonment, they're in dorsal, freeze, right? They're only capable of violence or neglect or abandonment or gaslighting codependency if they are in a nervous system response, which means they are physically unable to access their frontal lobe, so they are not making a decision. This is where absolute innocence comes in. You are incapable of thinking when you're in a defense response. It's set up that way. This is big. So what's beautiful is as we learn about the nervous system, we get to realize that that serenity prayer has nailed it, right? God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I cannot make snakes not bite. I cannot make people's nervous systems not send them into fight or flight or freeze or fawn. Okay? I cannot. I can't control somebody else's nervous system. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. I have to accept that I am in a snake pit right now. The courage to change the things I can. My nervous system. So when my nervous system is hijacked by a perceived threat, I can say, oh, hey, I noticed that I'm in fight right now. I am going to do some nervous system exercises, some gentle movement. I'm going to take some deep breaths. I'm going to, if I've already gone into fight and I've lashed out at somebody, I'm going to check back in with them after I've taken really good care of myself. And I'm going to say, like, hey, it looks like I had a nervous system response that hurt you. And I'm really sorry. And what can I do to repair this relationship? Right. I can, after I'm done with the nervous system support that I've offered myself because of noticing that I went into a nervous system response, I am going to take the time to do the self-inquiry. I'm going to meet with somebody to do self-inquiry. I'm going to do my therapy. I'm going to journal. I'm going to ask for guidance and help to understand why it was that I went into fight response in a reaction in the first place. And then I'm going to look at my life and I'm going to say, hey, am I eating? Am I sleeping? Am I setting boundaries? Am I having assertive communication? Am I surrounding myself with uh, people who are consistent, respectful as much as I can? Am I taking time in nature? Am I taking time to move my body? Am I doing things that bring me pleasure? Am I taking time to do creative things? Right. And then that's all the courage to change the things I can. Right. Those are the things we do have control over. And then the wisdom to know the difference, asking for the reminders that snake bites are morally neutral, so that I'm not blaming myself or others. And then the rest of that serenity prayer, which is so powerful. Let's see. Let me just pull it up so I don't get it wrong. I've pretty much memorized it, but it's a full version of the serenity prayer. It's where is it? It's like, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Um, you know what? I just got the Al-Anon book. One second. Al-Anon is a 12-step program that's for friends and families of alcoholics. But I used to go a lot, but then it got a little legalistic for me. But there's still a lot of things that I really use and apply to my life. Where is it? It's like um appreciation for all that I have. So integrating uh gratitude, um God grant me serenity, accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Grant me appreciation for all that I have, tolerance of those with struggles different than my own, like the strength to get up and keep trying. Gosh, it's so much prettier than that. I wish I could find it. Well, this is very anticlimactic. Oh man. Let's see. I'll look one more thing. I don't know. Nope. I can't find it. I'm so sad. But point being that the serenity prayer gives us like the perfect template. Long. Let's see this. Nope, that's not it. That's some weird stuff, actually. Let's see what this one says. Huh. There's some weird long serenity prayers out there. Yeah, don't look up the one that starts with living one day at a time. That's some, I don't know what I think about that. Uh, let's see. Yeah, well, obviously this has gotten too long. So okay, never mind. But it mentions like gratitude, and it mentions like understanding that other people are having a hard time and their different struggles. So it's that like absolute innocence. And then it it acknowledges that like, you know, life is going to be challenging, and that we want to like take care of ourselves amidst that, so that like there are going to be things we cannot change, and so there's that radical acceptance piece. And in that is so much grief, right? That if you're still with me, you're a superhero. There's so much grief around like, gosh, I don't want to be in a snake pit. Like I think a snake pit is bad. Right. And I want to still believe in the fantasy that I can get out of the snake pit. Right. I really continue. I'm having like several financial challenges right now. And I really want to believe that if I work harder, or if I do it right, that I won't have, or if I like manifest or think about whatever you think about, what is it? Whatever you think about, you bring about, whatever you believe, you receive. Like all these rhymes that make us feel like, gosh, if I'm struggling, then there's something wrong with me and my mindset is bad. Ooh. So if we can just yeah, be like, okay, we are in a snake pit. We don't love being in a snake pit, but what can we do about the snake pit? You know, what can we do to support ourselves and be kind to ourselves while we're in the snake pit? That was a very profound thing for me. I don't know if I conveyed it in a profound way, but I love you. And I'm sorry that we're in the snake pit, but I love you so much. And I hope that you're able to take care of some of your snake bites with some big love and some nervous system exercises and some breaks to just disassociate when you need to, with some whatever your version of that is, and some real sweetness to yourself when you lose it and just lash out. And just overall so much gentleness, and the reminder that I'm pretty sure you can't fuck it up. So I'm rooting for you. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the snake pit.